Hi everyone. So in this easy peasy video, I wanted to talk to you about how to stop the whining. So if your kids aren't whining right now, they probably will. It's a phase they go through, and it can be very frustrating for the parents. Their voices can be so irritating. And it's really hard to not lose your patience. So just some tips in how to stop the whining and how to maintain your patience through the whining. So first, when they are whining, remind yourself that there is a need. There is a reason they're whining. It may not be what they're saying. They may be saying, I'm hungry, or I want to stay at the park. Mom, I want to stay at the park. And that's maybe not why they're whining. But there is a reason that they're whining. So there is a need that they're expressing, even though it might not be what they're saying. It might be what they're saying, but it might not be. So remind yourself that there is a need. And so remind yourself that there's a need that needs to be met. And don't react with mocking, imitating, or just telling them that they don't have it. Like, no, that's not the need. Because I think that's our natural reaction, is to say, oh, I want to stay at the park. Like, I mean, it is so irritating that sometimes you lose your patience, and I know that that's how parents react. That's I have to stop myself from being like, oh gosh. So don't mock or ridicule, and don't tell them no. So if it's, I'm hungry, it's like, no, you're not hungry. You just ate 30 minutes ago. No, you're not hungry. So don't negate what they're saying, even though it could possibly, you could know there's no possible way they're hungry, but don't negate what they're saying, because they are expressing something to you, and don't mock them or ridicule them, tease them for what they're doing. The other thing don't do is don't try and get them to understand. I think we think very logically, okay, 3-year-old, do you hear the difference when you say, I'm hungry, or when you say, Mom, I'm hungry? Do you hear that? Because I really like when you say, Mom, I'm hungry, not Mom, I'm hungry. But the thing is although we can hear the difference, most of the time the kid does not hear the difference in those two. And so they're not understanding what you're saying at all when you tell them, don't say it this way, say it this way. It's beyond them, and they don't understand that. So don't try and debate with them. So the first thing you should do is remind yourself there is a need. And then the second thing is to affirm what they're saying, just that you're hearing them. So if they're saying, oh, I'm hungry, and whatever, you can say, oh, I hear you're hungry. And then you don't have to give in. You do want to meet their needs, but you don't have to give in to whatever they're asking for or whining about. We don't want to reward the whining, but we do want to help them progress out of the whining so we don't go crazy. So what you want to do is affirm, I hear, oh, you're very hungry. That's hard when your belly feels hungry, so just sometimes identify that you physically hear what they're saying, and that you understand what they're saying. Even if it's something that could not be the case. Okay, you could not be hungry. We just had a huge meal 10 minutes ago. Doesn't matter. Just affirm what they're saying, that you hear them and that you understand. And then from there, you can take it in a couple different directions. You can say, I feel hungry too sometimes, you can flat out say, we're not going to eat right now. You don't have to give a reason. Do not go into a whole debate reasoning thing. It's not time to eat. You could say, we're not going to eat right now. It's not time to eat, but then end it at that. Don't go into, you just ate, and you had macaroni and cheese, and you had a whole hot dog, and you had dessert. There's no reason you could possibly be hungry. Your belly can't be hungry. So don't go into the whole thing, because they're not going to get that. They're trying to express something, which could be they need your attention, which could be that they're tired. It could be a number of things. If you can get on their level, talk to them eye to eye. I take my daughter's hands, she's 3, so that she looks at me, she feels that I'm there with her. I'm holding her hands when I can tell that something is really upsetting her, even if it's not what she's saying. Hold her hands, and I try and do that. Now, sometimes you can't do that. We're in the car, and they are whining or crying because we had to leave the park. I'm not going to stop the car and go back there and be able to do that. We're going to be home in 6 minutes. You know, we might as well just get home. And so if you can get on their level and talk to them like that, if you can't, that's okay. Just express it in words. Say, I hear that you wanted to play at the park and that you're sad because it's really fun playing at the park and you wanted to stay there. We're not going to stay at the park because it's time to go home, but we can do something fun when we get home. And then you try and redirect, okay? So you're not negating, like, they're warning about staying at the park and you try and just get them to jump to a different subject. You say, I hear you. It is sad when we have to leave the park. Then you say, would you like to do something fun in the car? Would you like to listen to music? When we get home, what should we do then? Do you want to get your puzzle out? Do you think we should start making dinner? You know, so you try and help them progress. Yes, you have those feelings. Now what should we be thinking about? Now let's, try and move on, because a lot of times it is a complaint about something else. I'm bored, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I need you to give me a hug. There's all kinds of things that are expressed differently and they come out in really annoying whining. So first, keep yourself in check, identify what they're saying, and then help them move on to something else. Still have the conversation. If they want to still talk about the park, keep talking about the park. If you want to say, it is so fun at that park, we have to go home right now, would you like to go to the park another day? What are you going to do at the park next time? What was your favorite part about the park? Definitely don't be closed off if they want to talk about their feelings, but try and get them to progress. Give them some attention if they need attention, which a lot of times whining, they need some attention. But we're not affirming the whining. We're not saying every time you whine, you get my attention. We're giving attention in other ways. So we're giving attention because we love the child and we're talking about other things, or we're letting them express themselves. But the other thing don't do is don't ignore it and act like you can't hear it. It will only get louder. So if they're whining, I want to stay at the park, I like the park, Mom, I like the park. If you ignore it and you just turn the car radio up louder and you just pretend like you can't hear them in the back seat, it's not going to stop. They need you to feel what they're feeling. They need you to identify that they are struggling. So don't ignore it, don't negate it, and don't mock it. Just try to identify it and try to talk to them about it. Not too much. They don't need the reasons all the time. If they're a little older, they can hear the reasons. It's time to go home from the park because it's getting dark, because it's time to start making dinner, because we need to do this. But if they're 3 or 5 or maybe even 7, they aren't in a place to hear that many reasons. They maybe could hear one, and that's it. So I know you really like the park. It's time to go home though. I'm sorry. The park is a lot of fun. And then try and move them out of it. You can, if those things aren't working, at that point, then you can choose not to respond and say, I already told you, I am sorry that you like the park and you want to stay, but I already told you it's time to go home. Okay. So, and then just zip it if you want. Okay. So after you've already, affirmed that you hear them, you understand their feelings, then if you want to cut it off from there, you can, but definitely don't ignore them from the get-go, because it'll just get worse. They need to express something to you, and so they need to know that you're listening, you hear them. So those are my tips for how to curb the whining, and also just to try and be patient through it all and know that your kid will get through this. They will move past their whiny stages, and so if you can be patient and help them process that, and that's really what you're doing. You're helping them to understand, when I have these feelings, it's okay. So I have this feeling, I'm upset about something, I don't know why, but I don't feel great about this situation. And then how do we, that's okay. It's okay to be sad that we have to leave the park. It's okay to be a little hungry now, and my belly feels hungry, and that's okay. And that we're going to eat in 15 minutes when dinner is ready, and that's okay. Sometimes I get hungry too. So it's just teaching them how to progress through the feelings that they're having, which we need to do all the time. It's just sometimes it is easier than other times, and the whining definitely doesn't help us parents to keep our cool and to keep our patience, because it can get very irritating and just grate on your nerves, and the kids don't hear it. So those are my tips for how to stop, or how to at least lessen the amount of whining, and I hope it works for you. If you have some tips, drop them in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like my easy peasy tips for parents and easy peasy tips for kids, how to do things independently. And so be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow for some more Vlogmas 2020. Have a great day. Bye.